Not knowing whether your books are really accurate is one of the most dangerous places to be as a business owner. Because if your numbers are wrong, every decision you make based on your financial stance is going to be wrong as well. Look, there are many ways to make mistakes in bookkeeping, but one way accountants use to make sure everything in the books looks accurate is bank reconciliation. And if you're like most business owners that I work with, you might actually be doing your books already, but this is the one area that you probably avoid altogether. And I'm here to tell you that, especially when using Wave, bank reconciliation is far easier than you think. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to reconcile your books step by step inside of Wave so your numbers are accurate, clean, and something you can actually trust. What you're about to see is actually a clip from a 2.5-hour free course on how to do bookkeeping in Wave hosted here on YouTube. So if you find it useful and want to keep learning, I suggest you check that video out as well, and I'll be linking it in the description box below. Now, quick intro, my name is Andrew Bloom. I'm a PhD student in accounting, and I run a bookkeeping firm where I work with small businesses and real estate investors to keep their finances accurately tracked and have insights into their books and finances all year round. And here's the truth. Most business owners either avoid reconciliation completely or they do it inconsistently and hope everything's going to be fine. So I'm going to simplify this as much as possible. No jargon, no confusion, just the exact process you would need. And one more thing, if at any point you are watching and thinking, yeah, I really don't want to be doing this myself, that's totally fine. And it's exactly what I'm here for. I'd be more than happy to help you with your bookkeeping. Just head on over to the Profit Logic website and you'll learn more about the services I offer there. All right, let's jump into Wave and reconcile your accounts the right way. Now, you're going to be wondering, how do you keep track of it all? There's so many opportunities to just make mistakes. And you're right, there really are. When it comes to bookkeeping, there are so many ways you can make mistakes. But one way to at least double check and make sure everything's entered correctly and there's not too many transactions listed in Wave or too few that didn't make it from a bank, we're going to perform something known as bank reconciliation. And this is a thing that I always see business owners who are doing their own books just completely ignore because it sounds scary and complicated. And I'm here to tell you it's actually pretty easy, especially with Wave. This is one of the updates from Wave. If you try to go to just reconciliation tab here in the nav bar, you're going to see it's reconciliation has moved. So that was a feature that was changed in the past year. They moved reconciliation as an on-off feature just straight out of the transactions feed. It's the same thing. It really didn't change much. But basically you could just have it all in one place. So if you turn reconciliation on, it's going to take you through their first time reconciliation setup. And there's really not much you need to set up here. They're just going to show you how to do reconciliation. So to reconcile an account, you have to look at one account at a time. And you really only have to do this, not for all the accounts in the chart of accounts, but just for the ones that are physical. So like your credit card, any checking, savings, bank accounts for the business. And in this case, we're going to want to reconcile two accounts, both the Scrooge Duck Vault Bank and the Chase Bank accounts. So we'll start with the Scrooge Duck Vault. Now to perform a reconciliation, you're basically going to need to get the bank statement for the last month, and this is something you should be doing monthly. In this case, we'll start with the Scrooge Duck Vault bank statement, and it's going to be asking for the statement end date, and here we know the statement end period was the 31st of January, so we'll enter that. And it's also going to ask for the closing balance. And in this case, the balance closed here at 2,000. So we're going to enter that as well. We'll hit start reconciling. And this is one of the cool ways it kind of does it for you. So it showed us this immediate, hooray, your bank's match, your statement balance matches to what's in Wave. So we're going to ask to reconcile automatically. And it basically, normally in a bank reconciliation, at least in the past, before all these software features, you would literally have to go line by line and basically match every single transaction on the statement to every transaction in the books. You can still do that to double check, and it's encouraged that you do, especially if you have a lot of transactions. But once you see the transaction in the statement, you'll want to click match on the item in Wave. Now, I want to show you what it looks like if you have something missing. So let's go back. Before we end the reconciliation, let's go back to transactions. And let's just remove one of these. We'll remove the... You'll see now there's this little reconciliation icon here next to it once it's been reconciled. But we'll remove the advertising expense for $300. Let's say somehow it got missed. And let's try to perform a reconciliation again. So let's go back. All right, so this time, now it's showing us that there's a difference of $300. It's going to be a positive number. If there was an expense missing from the bank, it'll be a negative number. If there's too much in the bank and something is missing if there's not enough in the bank and there's like an income item missing. So here they'll show this is the closing balance that the bank reported. This is the balance in Wave, and this is what's not in Wave. So something is missing here, and you would not be able to see it in Wave, and we know because it's just not in Wave. That's when looking line by line makes a ton of sense to make sure all those transactions are there. So we see that there's a missing transaction. Because we're still in the transactions feed, we can add a transaction here. We'll add a withdrawal. We can see that the advertising expense was on the 12th for $300. For $300 on the 12th. So we add that, and now Wave matches. So we'll reconcile automatically. You can see all the items are marked reconciled, and now we can end the reconciliation for the month. So now we have a reconciliation history for this account, and you can see the statement end date for that time period, what day it was reconciled on, the starting and closing balances for it. And if you hit the pencil, you can see all the transactions in there as well. So that's reconciliation. Let's quickly do it together for Chase Bank. So same thing. We have the bank statement, and we know the ending balance is down here for 110. The statement period we have is ended on the 31st. You're going to find with credit card statements, they often like to do it middle of the month. It's annoying for reconciliation, but you just kind of got to work with it. So again, that was 31st, 110. And hit start reconciling. So we know it's all there. We imported it automatically, or we imported it manually. And we'll go to the reconciliation history and see the final reconciliation there. So that's it for reconciliation. It really is a lot more simple. It gets harder when you have more transactions. your business is more complex, things fall through the cracks, and then you have to go on this long manhunt for where's the missing transaction or the incorrect transaction, or who didn't pay, who got paid. That's the part of it that gets complicated when you have to kind of sleuth for the answers. But the actual act of it, not too hard. I do recommend having some way that you track this. Like if you're doing your own books, create a reoccurring to-do list item every month to reconcile your accounts monthly, and have a spreadsheet that you could track that month was reconciled, especially if you tend to do it in bulk, maybe at the end of the year. It could be really easy to forget where you were, although having the reconciliation history helps to see where you last left off. Okay. What else? Anything else? Oh,